Hey everyone, this is Melanie with melaniestamps.com. I am here tonight. We're going to be creating this simple Z-fold card using the Bird Ballad suite that we're focusing on this week. It's a really fun design, but it's very, very simple to make. So we're going to focus on that. I have been having a little bit of technical issues, but I think, fingers crossed, we are live. And hopefully, I'm looking right now, we are in the right direction, which would be wonderful. Let's see. Here it's coming up. It looks like it's blurry. Oh, there we go. I'm in the right direction. Yay! Okay, so today we're going to be doing this card. We're going to do a little bit of coloring with the Stampin' Blends, and then a little basic stamping. And a funny little thing, anyone that's been in my classes locally know that I almost always lose something or misplace something or forget something. So if you're following and you're going to continue following, please love me anyways. But so this tiny little flower here has ran away. So we're going to be just using the larger flower in this sample, but hey, we'll roll with it, right? So the suite that we're looking at tonight is free as a bird stamp set. This is called the Bird Ballad suite. And this stamp set is perfect for the blends, coloring all these little bits and pieces. Simply stamp them on thick white cardstock and go to town with your alcohol markers. If you're not aware of our alcohol markers, we do have a 2-marker system. This here is Pool Party, and it comes in the light and the dark. And it's, it is made to be able to, hold on, let me mute my thing. The desktop is on, there we go. I am able to see comments, by the way. It might be a 5 or 10 second lag, but if I see them, I will respond. If not, I'll always respond later. So I'll make sure your questions are answered. But anyways, so these are the Stampin' Blends. They come in a lot of our different color families, and we're going to be doing just a little bit with them tonight. On Friday, you will see a post for Focal Friday that has a lot. I've actually hand colored all of this, and it's really, really pretty. So with this bundle, rather than getting dies, framelits that cut these out, you get these beautiful stitched nested labels. And I've got to tell you, I used these last week. Here's the sample I did on Monday, and I love these dies. I'm a fanatic. It's just so different, and the stitching or the little piercing is even different than your regular dies that you would be purchasing from, other companies. So I just wanted to point that out, that this bundle has a little bit more to offer, in my opinion, just because these dies are so versatile. And you do get the 10% bundle price. So that is always good. So I have broken this down. I've already pre-cut everything, so you don't have to see me cut everything, but I do have measurements. If you want to jot them down as I read them out, you can, but will be posting them under the video and also on YouTube when I upload it this evening. So let's get started. Fun, 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 fun. Just sit that right there. Okay, so for the card base, it's a normal size card base. You've got a 4 1/4 by 11 inch, so a half of a piece of cardstock. You're going to score it in half like you normally would, and then score this one in half also. So this score line, so if you're actually doing it this way, no, you're doing it this way, I'm sorry. You'll be scoring at 2 3/4 and then 5 1/2. So and when you do that, and on this piece, the larger piece goes to the right, the opposite is gonna be for the next piece. So this one, you're gonna have a mountain fold as your first fold and a normal valley fold for your second fold. Now your second piece, which is going to go the opposite way, you're going to have your large section here and then 2 smaller sections. On this, this piece itself, will, oh, I don't have the measurements written down for that. I will make sure we get the measurements for that. Well, here, I'll just check it real quick. This is 2.5 by 10. 2.5 by 10. So on this, you're going to be putting your, the front section of your card. I think you can see that in the line. You're going to be hooking this here as what we see, and then it's going to be folded in like that. So, so on the large piece, you're going to score at 2 3/4 and 5.5, and then on this Petal Pink piece, you're going to be scoring at 4 1/4 and 7.5. So that will give you, when you fold them all up, if you do the mountain and valleys, you're going to have this right here. Because this one also is a mountain, the first one, a valley is the second one. Does that make sense? Okay. Clear as mud, right? Okay, so with these two, we're going to then have some DSP, which is Designer Series paper. These here, I love this Bird Ballad Suite. The paper, if I didn't buy anything else, I would just buy the paper. But, you know, we all hoard paper, so what's new, right? So for this top piece, we're going to have a 4.5 by 2.5 piece going right here. And then you have a 2.5 inch square there. And then this piece is a little shorter. This piece is 2 1/4 by 2.5. So it's just a tiny bit smaller. And this is where you'll write your little message on this piece. We're going to decorate these two. And then for your actual stamping, we're going to use the white cardstock, which is our Whisper White. And it's 4 1/4 by 2 1/4. And it is going to go right there. Trying to do this somewhat a little slow, just so I'm making sense. Everything makes sense here. On this one, this is your typical size for like your front, and so that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So you got the 4 by 5 1/4, and it fits just like you normally would have a card front, except this time it's the card base, the back. Then these two here are the same size, and they are 2.5 inches by 4 inches. So let's get gluing real quick, huh? Here, use our snail. Sometimes it's good, now that I'm saying this, it's probably going to happen to us, but sometimes it's good to use our liquid Tombow liquid glue, and just because you have a little more wiggle room, if you get something uneven. So this is, simple gluing, very, very simple. If you're watching this even if you're watching this in the replay, let me know where you're from and who's watching, who's viewed the video. I'd love to hear what you think and, what I can do to improve. Of course, I'm a beginner right now. This is like my only second live. So I know it's gonna, I'll get better with time, but hey, you got to jump in sometime, don't you? If you don't, look at that paper. Oh, it almost kills me to put tape on it. But if you do not currently have a demonstrator, I would love to earn your business. I have my blog address right there in this month's hostess code. And hostess codes are good to use for anyone that's ordering under $150. And the reason I say that is because once upon a time, people were having lots of home parties. And that's why they called them hostess benefits. Because you would have a host, you'd go to their house with their friends, and you would come with the projects and you would stamp, and then the hostess would earn any monetary benefits from the class. So then people started having actual classes, and then they went online, And I just realized something I forgot while I'm sitting here talking to you. But they, you know, we're doing more online instead of hold on just one second. Pool party. It would be good if we had ink, wouldn't it? But they're doing online now, and they're doing where demonstrators have just actual classes. They're even having classes to go. There's a lot of different, we'll do the sentiment first. There's a lot of different things going on, and everything has seemed to steer away from having a hostess. So they have kind of gone away with that, but we still can earn hostess benefits. So if you by chance live locally and want to host a party, would be ecstatic to bring the party to you. That is not a problem. But for a lot of demonstrators that don't do that, or they don't have a following to do that, they choose to start a hostess code each month, and you begin getting benefits at $150 with a hostess code. So, you know, if I have 3 or 4 people come on with let's say a $50 order, I would actually get the 10% for free, which is what the hostess would normally get at a party. And, but if you order over $150 just on your own, which a lot of people do, they want to stock up on paper, or right now the new catalog, then you would actually get the host rewards, which is at a $300 or at a $150 order, it's 10%. So it's $15 for free. So it's not huge amounts, but it is really nice to get that. And of course, the higher your sales, the more you earn for free. So as a demonstrator, we're able to put those, the freebies, you know, by adding up a whole bunch of little orders, we end up qualifying ourselves for, you know, enough to get a pack or two of cardstock, or, you know, just a little here and there to help with our business, to help bring classes like this to you. You know what I've noticed? I think this is Blushing Bride, and I'm sitting here stamping in Petal Pink. You just gotta love me. Hold on a second. I'm glad my ink is right here. This is hilarious. But I'm glad my ink's right next to me, huh? Though you probably can't hear me when I'm over there. Let me look here. I'm sitting here talking away and not paying attention. That's not a very good... See, that looks too dark now. That is hilarious. Look at that. You know, it's actually pretty, though. I might keep it. I think I like that. So, hey, stamping, you can stamp any way you like. I'm going to have to remember that color combo. I'm liking the feel of that. Let me just wash off this flower stamp here. And we need to get our little stem. And I will just pop in a little bit here and there. You know what it probably was? I probably stamped off. This will just give a little bit of green. Yeah. We're all human. I've just proved Melanie is human, right? Haha, that actually looks pretty cute. What you think? Do you like it? Do you think it still works? Think I'll get away with it? Ha ha ha. Let me put our little birdie, which we're going to color here in just a second, back on a block so we can use it. And let's close this ink pad before I get my elbow in it. I'm notoriously known for, actually look, the Petal Pink, that was Petal Pink. Just it was darker when I stamped it. That actually looks really cute though. Oh, my surface is dirty. Getting it on the back. I got it on the front too. What's new? Okay. you'll still get the idea. Plus, like I said, you'll have the measurements to go by. Okay, so let's do a little bit of coloring, which I know a lot of you want to see. I have a lot of people saying, color, color for us, color. Next Wednesday, I'm actually going to do the large magnolia. So we will color a larger image next week. When you're using alcohol markers, you want to make sure that you use the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. This is a must. Paper is also really important for blending. Stampin' Up! Recommends us using the thick Whisper White, which is what I have here. They also make, and I know you're not supposed to promote other companies, but they also make, Copic itself has a paper, and there's the Nina a Solar White paper that's real popular to use for blending. But when you just have the two colors in each family, and you can pull in other, like I could use these two and then a Mossy Meadow. These are Old Olive. And then a Mossy Meadow to get a darker, to get a 3-tone or a 4-tone. But for us, for today, we are going to just use 2 different color families, really. Put that up there so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to have just a little bit of Old Olive on the back of his feathers here. Make sure I'm in, yep, I'm in the frame pretty good. I'll be a pro at this by the time we're done, especially with all the goofs tonight, huh? Okay, so that was light, the light Old Olive. And this is just going to get kind of lower on him and like his under feathers. Because you got to think, if he's sitting there and there's sun, well, here, look at my shadow. If we're getting sun, I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. Let me wait until I catch up with you. The lag is about 10 seconds or so. But if your sun is, let's say, coming here, the top part of your feathers are going to be with sunlight, and the underneath side is going to be in the shade. So like here is sun, but here back here is shade. So if that makes any sense whatsoever, hopefully it does. And then if you see a transition in colors, if you go over it with a lighter one, and these are just tiny little flecks, not barely kissing the page with the pen. And then on this one, we will use Pool Party. And these markers do have 2 tips, just like Copic markers do. And any of you that follow me know that I am a Copic colorist as well. I do a lot of Copic coloring. But I have really enjoyed the simplicity of our Stampin' Blends. I think they're very worth the money that Stampin' Up! Charges for them. They're very easy to use. I actually like the bullet, this fine point, the best. They do have a brush nib also, and that's something that Copic does not have. Copic has the brush, but at the end, they have this real chunky, here, I'll show you one. At the end, they have this really chunky nib that really is only good for like backgrounds. You're not going to use it. Look what end you use. I'm a hot mess. But anyways, this gives you that fluff, that real fine tip on that end. And it's more of a brush. It bends with your project. And then this end here is more of a bullet, very fine, precise. And the ink doesn't just come out real heavy with these also, which is something I think especially for beginners. They need simplicity. You always can step up to Copics later. But I think, for our price point, I think they're very worth it. So, and I love that they offer them in the duo, the set of 2. Here again, I'm doing shadows right now, just FYI. But we offer them in 2s, but then we also offer them individually. So if one marker does run out, you don't have to buy the whole set. You don't have to buy both markers and have this extra marker because, your lights are going to run out before you know, before your darks do, because you're using a lot less dark. You blend more with the light. And on the markers, just like Copic, they have a thin line here and a thicker line here, and that's just the small nib and the larger nib, which is very handy. Now, what I did here while I was talking is I put in all the dark shadows. You know, the curve of his head there where the neck bends in, you know, under his chin, around his tummy, of course, under, and I probably could have gone under his wing there just a little bit more. But then you're going to come back with your light and you're just going to flick away from you. And that allows the tip to scoop up. And that gives you a softer blend rather than having, you know, lines and streaks. And it just is really, really helpful. And I like to leave like a little tiny white. It just helps. It makes it look like that sun is just hitting right there. And if when you're coloring in this, it looks like your dark has kind of bleached, well, your light color has bleached the dark, you just simply go back over the dark and just add that. I'm going to put that under the wing there that I didn't do the first time. Put his little neck. But you see how just adding that one more time, it just gives really definition. Do his little neck there, around his head. And I want to blend that center section just a little bit more. This is with the light marker. I'm going to leave that there. That way we have that highlight on his chest. And we'll leave a little highlight on his face. But you see, the key to these and the key to see them blend is to do layers. You're going to do, you know, your light just to kind of see where do I want those shadows. Because if you start with your light, you're going to immediately see if you like it or not. If you don't like where the shadows are, you can always go darker. Or you don't, you know, you don't put the dark there then. So here, you know, I kind of did my light everywhere I wanted the dark. And then I went in with my dark and I went over it once I was happy with it. And then I went back with my light, and then I darkened up the intensity, and I, you know, put that last part in here that I had forgotten, and then I just blended out again, really, you know, light touch, that flicking motion, to where I got the blends smooth, and I've got a nice highlight on his head and a little tiny lightness on his chest where that sun is probably piercing in and just hitting him just a little bit right there. And then I've got, I believe this is Daffodil. This is Dark Daffodil. Where I'm just going to put him on a beak. Just a little beak. No need for shading there. Okay, and we're going to fussy cut him out. So I'm not going to try to color a whole bunch else, you know, around him like a ground. Some people like to go ahead and you know, make him an area to, like, you know, like a grounding effect. These are our paper snips. Cannot live without them. I actually have the Tim Holtz paper snips also, and I still reach for these each and every time. They're just so smooth, and the best result is to move the paper like I just did there. You move the paper instead of the scissors. I just can't explain to you how happy I am that my video is in the right direction. My son, actually, he's 20, and he's a YouTuber, and he actually helped me a lot last week, and, you know, being able to figure out how to turn the camera and make sure you guys could hear me. So I'm excited that tonight, well, the videoing went right. The forgetting the ink pads and choosing the wrong color, well, that's just Melanie. So you love me or you hate me. I hope you love me. How many of you like to fussy cut? Do you like to fussy cut, or do you use a, hold on, do you like to fussy cut? Hey, Janice. I see you too, Michelle. Hello. We're almost done here. Susan, I see you too. Yay, I'm finally seeing people. I can see comments. Okay, so we have our coloring done. And we're gonna put this baby together. Just ignore my little boo-boo on the front. So the way you're gonna do this is you're gonna close these both up. You are going to add a little bit of glue here. And remember, Tombow, we can move it all around. And you're gonna place it just like you want it to look when you have your card folded. See what I mean? The Tombow lets you move it around real nicely. Just give it a few seconds to hold. So now you've got that much. Okay. Then you're gonna put glue on this side. Probably put too much, but you know that's okay. Go ahead and close this up, and you're gonna close it exactly how you want it to stay. Super, super simple. Hey, Susan. Look. Ta-da! Super simple, huh? Now this week on our Thursday, and I guess Wednesday and Thursday, I'm introducing a set of an extra product line that I purchased last year and didn't use. So this year, with the new bundles, I'm determined to bring out all my old, and it's still current product in the new catalog. So we've got the Botanical Bliss and Botanical Tags, and for this project, I'm using this little twig here, or branch, or leaf, sprig. And then tomorrow's project, I'm actually doing a different fun fold. It's a bridge card, and I'm using this one tomorrow. So I'm also using this one tomorrow in the sentiment as well. So that's just, to me, it's an overlooked stamp set that didn't get love. So I decided it's getting love. So we will glue that down here. Get my glue started again. I don't want too much, so I'm being really careful. You could actually use adhesive sheets for this too. I'm not sure if those are still current though. Michelle, if you're on here and you can still hear me, tell me if they're current, the adhesive sheets. I don't think they are. I think they were by Sizzix. So I'm just putting just a tiny bit of glue. I'm just going slow so it doesn't get everywhere. This is a pretty new bottle of Tombow, which is rare for me. And this is something I saw online, and you can do this on paper, but someone I saw online just touched their skin to it like that, and it made it so it doesn't seep out the sides sometimes like it will. Look, oh, it'll stick to your hand. It just won't stick. There we go. Okay, see, and this just washes right off with a baby wipe. So then we will put him on here, our little birdie. Susan, I see your post, and you know, Donna watched some last week, even though it was sideways. She actually held on and watched me, even though it was sideways. I did go back and edit it for YouTube, and I reposted the video. So if anyone gave up last week, there we go. Ta-da! What y'all think? Is it cute? Well, minus my little ink issues. The last little thing I did is take my paper piercing tool, and I took a few little pearls, and I put them, actually they're big flowers, I want bigger pearls. Put them in the centers of the flowers. This paper piece tool, for anybody that like has nails, like a manicure and you don't want to mess up your manicure, these are great for picking up jewels and stuff like this, but also they're really good for peeling back the back of the dimensionals, which is our foam dots. Hey Donna, thank you for checking in with me tonight. I'll have the replay as soon as this goes off. You'll be able to see it from the beginning on the site, on my business page. Okay, one more. But yeah, using this to get the little release paper off of a dimensional works super good too. And they're cheap. You want to have them. They're cheap. Very inexpensive and very usable. Okay, so we have made our card. And if you didn't watch it from the beginning, some of you that have joined, if you didn't watch it from the beginning, make sure you go back and watch all my mistakes. Because I'm human, just like everyone else. But it still turned out cute. So I've got 2 of those now. They look a little bit different. And you'll be able to put your little note right there and then close it up. So I want to say good night for tonight, and I will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. I will be coloring the large magnolia stamp, and I have tons of samples. Speaking of samples, before I go, I got my swaps in the mail. I'm going to sit here and wait till this updates because I can't see. Facebook has like a 10-second delay. Here we go. Let's see. So I participate in a demonstrator swap, and I get a lot of swap cards at the beginning of each catalog. So these are not made by me. These are made by other demonstrators, but they go along with our suite this week. So I thought I would share them with you. And if there's any product you see and you're not sure where it came from, just send me a message. I can help you, help you pick wisely and help you get the most bang for your buck, so to speak. This one here is inked and then just stamped with that bird stamp. You'll see that on Friday. This one's really pretty. I like the way that one turned out. I'm making sure there's not a glare. The glare's not too bad. This one I thought was really tasteful. And look at those little labels. Those are from that same set. Is that not cool that you can do the little itty bitty one for your sentiments? So versatile. So. You guys want this. Need this. Okay, and then there's this one, the designer paper. This demonstrator also used the blends on her birdie. This one here is fussy cut from the paper, the DSP. And she used a nice embossing folder. That's really pretty. That's also the designer paper. And this one surprised me when I saw this. I thought, for a clean and simple card, this is gorgeous. If anyone's coming to the card buffet Monday, hint, hint, this one might be available. I just love the way this turned out. Look at the little extra leaf and itty bitty bow. And yes, I'll help you with your bows if you need it. So the sentiment works perfect. That's the same sentiment we used on the card tonight. And that fits perfectly in that medium size frame. So the stitched nested labels are a must. I probably should have just said Melanie must have and just done the labels by themselves because they are. So that's everything for tonight. I'll be back, like I said, next Wednesday, and we will do more coloring. If in the meantime you have to have the suite or anything else that you've seen tonight, you can go to melaniestamps.com. And if your order's under the $150, if you could use that hostess code, that'll help me bring more videos to you. Thanks so much. Bye.